Hey guys, and welcome to my review of the Cosmic Byte Hyperion gaming mouse. And this is a very affordable wireless gaming mouse, and it costs me only 1600 rupees to buy. And as you can see on the box, this also has RGB and it looks like a Logitech G703. It has one switches in the mouse, and it also uses a really good sensor calling it's a Pixart PMW3325 sensor, and it uses 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection for pretty much zero latency gaming experience, so there's no lag as well. And on the back you can see the weight of the mouse, and um, here is the supported DPI range, that is 200 to 10,000 DPI, and the supported polling rate ranges. So you can use this mouse at a lower polling rate for better battery life, or the higher polling rate for gaming. And the built-in battery and battery life is mentioned here. I was not able to check the battery life because it takes quite a long time to actually check the battery life, so I just kept it here, but that's about it. Now once you unbox the mouse, you get the mouse in the box, which is this Cosmic Byte gaming mouse. And let's take a look at the mouse. There's one nice RGB strip over here. This is addressable RGB supported, and this logo here is lit by basic RGB. It looks like a G703, and the mouse comes with 3 levels of buttons here: level 1, level 2 and level 3. And level 1 is generally the mouse turned off, level 2 turns it on with minimum RGB, and level 3 turns it on with the addressable RGB strip. Now once you get this mouse, make sure you remove the plastic cover on the mouse feet for a much better experience. Let me show you that. So there's right now a plastic cover here. We try to take it off. Here it comes off like that, and then the mouse fit will be much better for you to use. We will do it for the other two mouse as well, the other two feet as well. So if you were thinking that you bought the mouse and it doesn't feel quite good, now the glide will be much better. For connectivity option, you get this very cheap looking dongle. So one issue is that you cannot store the dongle in the mouse anywhere, so you have to be very careful to not lose it. And with the mouse you also get a USB cable, and it is not a braided cable, which is very good because braided cables are not very flexible. So if you ever want to use your mouse and you don't have battery, you can use the mouse wired with this cable. This cable has 2 slots over here, and you can see the thickness. So it might be possible to use any other USB-C cable in it if the thickness is lower, or if you can find something with 2 slots over here like this. And the mouse uses USB-C over here. You can just plug it in, basically making it a nice wired mouse as well. The cable is not too stiff like a braided cable, but it's definitely not as good as a lightweight cable. So yeah, I would recommend, if you can, get yourself a custom made paracord USB-C cable. That would be better, but no one really needs that since you can use this mouse wirelessly. Okay, so let's just turn on the mouse. To turn it on, you will you have to at least put the button or the slider onto level 2. Once you put on the level 2, the mouse will then focus. It will go to this mode where this LED will light up, and this LED cannot be turned off sadly, and it cannot be controlled, so this part only. And this right now this mouse is turned on, but this LED is not turned on. This is the addressable strip of the mouse, and if you turn on it to level 3, then what will happen is that now the mouse will have this addressable LED accessible, and this LED can be controlled with software, so you can change its color or customize it, the addressable RGB over here. It's fully controllable, but that's the downside, that this basic LED that is inside there is not controllable and it cannot be turned off. Only the addressable LED can be controlled and can be turned off or on by your choice. Now when it comes to the build quality, the mouse has a pretty nice matte finish, and I think gripping the mouse is quite easy. It grips quite well, and build wise the scroll wheel just feels quite fine. As you can see, the steps are good, and the scroll wheel is it's quite on the smoother side, but it's still decent enough. You can actually feel the steps. But it's not very tactile, it's quite smooth. It's really on the smoother side, and that's nice. So if you really need a very tactile scroll wheel, this is not quite the way it is, but it's quite good and it's quite stable. It does move a little bit. Try to jiggle it, but in normal use I have never seen it move. And buttons are also quite good, as you can see. The sound is quite fine, and the DPI switch. All the switches don't move or rattle, as you can see. They don't rattle, and they also don't move unnecessarily that much. So the switches are quite tight and nice, and the side buttons are also quite decent. It clicks here, and then the post travel is just fine. It's quite easy to reach as well. The height of it, so if you're clipping the mouse, they don't get in the way. If you want to click it, it's pretty easy to reach. And overall the buttons are quite good. Now the build is quite solid and feels quite good. There's no creaking or any flex anywhere, so that's good. But there is one issue: when you shake the mouse, you can hear a rattle, and I think it could be the lens or maybe something inside there, because this switch also doesn't move at all. And the lens, I cannot really test it right now. I can touch it, but you can hear a rattle, right? So that's one bad thing about the mouse, but I have not noticed any issue while playing the in-game, so that's what it is about. Now other than the build quality, the weight of this mouse is quite reasonable compared to any other mouse like this, and you can grip the mouse in palm grip pretty easily. For claw or like for fingertip grip, I think this mouse is not quite the best choice. You can go with a smaller mouse for that, but you can use it like a relaxed sort of a claw grip, and that's what I think I prefer. But for palm grip users, this is an Alco mouse, and this works quite well for just only that purpose. And by the way, talking about the shape and size of the mouse, I have a scale here with me. It's centimeter scale, and you can see from the top side of the mouse to the bottom side of the mouse, it is about 11 and a half centimeters, and from the side here it is around almost 11 centimeters. So on the top side here it is also, you can see it's coming on about 10 and a half, around that. And the height here would be around 3.8, something like that. And just the side of this area, middle section of the mouse, it's going to be about 5.3 centimeters right here, you can see. Now with the measurements, you can probably decide whether this mouse is right for you or not. The hump is also quite about, let's see, it's coming out to be on nearly 3.5 centimeters. So considering that this mouse is pretty much for larger size of hands, and I can easily palm it. Now let's talk about the performance of this mouse actually, which is probably a very important thing to consider when you are buying a sort of a cheap wireless mouse. So when it comes to the performance of this mouse, it comes with the 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongle and uses the 3225 sensor. And I only tested it in the wireless mode because probably no one is going to use it for the wired mode. And in wireless mode, I played some Valorant, I played some CSGO, I also spent some time in aim labs. I tried to see if it tracks pixel by pixel precisely, and I noticed it does track quite like absolutely precisely actually, and also it doesn't spin out at all. Like I move the mouse pretty fast, and I use 800 dpi and quite medium to low sensitivity, I would say. So it's 1 in CSGO, and with 800 dpi at that sensitivity, the mouse, I need to move it quite a lot and it doesn't spin out. And during all my gameplays, the tracking was just fine. When I was moving the mouse fast, it was precise, and the lift of distance was also under 1 dvd, so there was no LOD issues, and that way I could say the sensor didn't really had any flaws, like it was a perfect sensor. And on top of that, the 2.4 gigahertz wireless mode, I would say for 99% of the time it felt very responsive and very fast, but very few times I thought it was getting a bit slow maybe, but it could have been just my game lagging, so I'm not completely sure about it. But I would say I never really noticed an issue. And overall, you can see some gameplay that I played, and yeah, the mouse performed just like any wired mouse would, and I didn't really notice any difference. Also, I was able to reach my highest score in aim labs of 82,000 in great shot with the mouse as well as my wired mouse. So that was also completely similar performing. And so this mouse performs, I would say, pretty damn well, and it also doesn't have any flaws or any issues. So it completely succeeds in being a good wireless gaming mouse. And if you compare other good wireless gaming mouse that comes in a lower price range, actually there is only the Logitech G304 and also the G703, the G603, and then the higher end Viper Ultimate and G Pro Wireless, those mouses. And this mouse for a like very small fraction of their price, and it's like less than half the price of a G304, or actually just about half. This mouse actually is pretty much better in some way because it doesn't come with a better sensor or better battery life, but considering the size and the shape, this mouse has a lot of value added up to it. Because if you are looking for an ergo mouse and you also want a good mouse, even if this mouse was wired, it would be quite successful. So being wireless just makes it like incredibly good value, because if you really want a budget ergo mouse, your options are quite limited because you really need to spend a little bit extra to get a good mouse from a good brand. But here you are getting a quite recognizable shape of the Logitech series G403, and you're also getting good wireless performance, and you can definitely use it wired if you don't want to deal with wireless mode, because this mouse does have good battery life. But if you are not using the mouse, it turns off and you need to just move the mouse or click it, so the mouse just goes into sleep mode if you are not using the mouse for quite a while. So if you just don't want to deal with that, you can maybe use this mouse in wired mode, and I think it's still a pretty good value even then. So yeah, I would say for this price, this mouse is definitely a really good deal, just a no-brainer deal if you are really looking for a mouse. The only drawback I would say is that you cannot really turn off the top RGB or control it. So if you really want a good setup where all the colors are matching and complementing each other, then you could either like cover the logo of the mouse with some sticker, or you will have a harder time. You can maybe open the mouse and fuse the LED if you want to do it that way, but yeah, just that one, that's just one very small thing that I don't know, because I could have fixed the more LED issue. But than that, this mouse seems really perfect for me so far. Okay, so other than the performance, let's talk about the software of this mouse now. And I'm gonna start from the RGB settings. And as like I told before, the top LED is not controllable. You cannot turn it off or on, and it just cycles through colors. And the bottom LED is fully controllable. It has 6 LEDs, and all are addressable LEDs. They are all individually controllable. You can set any color. And here if you can see in the software that what effects do you have. So yeah, I'll let the effects video roll so you guys can just check out all the effects the mouse list can do. So in the mouse software you can set up to 3 profiles in this mouse, and you can start your polling rate from 125 up to 1000 depending on whether you want to focus on saving battery or have better performance, and around 500 to 1000 is ideal for gaming, so you want to keep it there. You can have 6 DPI modes, and I generally keep one so it's stable, but you can have 6 DPI modes, and you can change DPI up to 5000 in steps of 100, and then above 5000 the DPI changes in step of 500. So after 5000 it goes to 5500, then 6000, then 6500, like that, and before that it goes up by 100 every time you increase it. So that way it's quite customizable before that on the lower DPI levels. And also you have the option to customize some of the basic things here that you can customize in Windows as well. You can customize the double click speed, you can customize the mouse sensitivity, like the Windows sensitivity is there, and you can actually have mouse pointer precision setting here, so you have to disable it because it does come turned on by default, which is kind of bad. And every time you switch the mode or you want to connect your mouse with a wire, the moment you will connect your mouse with a wire, the pointer precision, the enhanced pointer precision option will be turned on, so you have to turn it off. And once you do it, then the mouse will remember it and it will not happen again. But at first time the mouse acceleration is turned on, and other than that the mouse also supports recording of macros, and I haven't really used the macro feature, so I don't know how good it will be, but I didn't really feel like needing it for anything, so I just left it at that. You can actually change the function of the switches if you want to. So for example, if you don't want to use the back forward for the side buttons, you can change it into something else like volume control, or maybe you can change the DPI key if you're not switching DPI to maybe play or pause or maybe mute. You can do stuff like that, and all the switches are customizable, and you can also set macros to them, so you can use the DPI switch as a macro function for that. So all that are pretty good. So the software overall I would say is quite decent, and you have to get the software on the Cooking Byte website by clicking on the chatbot option and then just going for the software download. So all you have to do to get the software is actually go to Cosmic Byte's official site, then click on the support at the bottom right corner, and then go to the drivers, and from there just you will get a Dropbox link for a folder where there will be many drivers. Just find the name of your product and click on it and you will get it, and that's about it. Thanks for watching my review, and I know it's really too long, but hope you have gotten your answer from this and you'll be able to make a better purchase decision now. And yeah, bye.